Serena. No, we have to get her in the shower. We have to keep her talking and awake. Come on. Dorota, will you please get some Christian?
You miss me? Cause I sure miss you. Well, it's very sunny.
Welcome back, bitches. The most comprehensive guide you will ever have on applying to VinUniversity, and is highly applicable to other stuff too. This is the part where things are getting a little bit gray. It's diving into the part where you're building up your application arc and you're balancing your elements so that it expresses you as a whole entity that is coherent. A lot of these stuffs are very situational. It depends on your applications. It depends on what you have already written in your CV, in your essays, blah, blah, blah. So let's begin. The AACC. But we all know the AACC. It's something that VinUniversity invented, but I also genuinely think that it is a very great framework to tie in other types of applications that you might have in the future as well. AACC stands for Ability, Aspirations, Creativity, and Commitment. For me, this is the part that ties in my application into this beautiful, gorgeous mirror ball. My personal strategy that I used is that every time I'm fixing my essays or my activity list on my profile, or I'm preparing for my interview, I always draws it back to AACC. I ask myself, okay, is it within AACC or is it telling something outside of AACC? I try to introduce new aspects of what I've already said in my AACC section, and I try my best not to diverge too much from it. But it really depends. If you have already crafted an amazing persona with everything else in your application, it's actually okay to bring in some fresh, new, entirely out of place perspectives. You see how I meant it's not black and white? It's not. This is hard. I said AACC a lot, huh? In my creativity and ability sections, I tried to pick out something from my past experience that kind of seems very interesting, or I word it in a way that is very interesting. I'm actually going to read one for you because I like it a lot. Like, I was very proud when I wrote it down, and I feel like, oh my god, I've been so efficient with my word count. Now that I'm looking back at it, I don't like it that much, but I'm still going to read it to you. Ability. I used a film crew's call sheet to establish an organizing system for workshops. I learned how to network by studying the silver tongue of a stamp engraver on Hanguat Street. The ability to draw connections and lessons from seemingly unrelated experiences or ideas allow me to learn from everything, everywhere, all at once. They already know that I host workshops, and they already know that I do something about networking, that I was on a film crew, kind of. So it makes sense for me to say these things because it ties in the rest of my application. The commitment sections was very similar, but it was a little more restricted. With the ability section that I just read you, I drew from like many different experiences, but for my commitment sections, I just drew from one that I feel like was very significant. The aspiration part, I think, is pretty special because it forces me to think about my future career and think what I am actually going to do with the degrees that I'm having, and how am I going to balance what I'm studying, what I'm good at, what I'm passionate about, and what makes me money. So basically, I try to solve the entirety of that inane problem. What does inane even mean? It meant what I thought it meant.
I'm literally walking you guys through my head when I was crafting my application, hoping that you'll learn something out of it.
The reason why I cannot give you direct advice, because there is no direct advice. As I said before, it starts to get to the point where it's about strategies, it's about balancing different parts of your applications, and that's something you have to assess for yourself. So my methodologies can be suggestions that you could apply to your application if it fits you. If it does not, try to venture to other options and other approaches to your application. I think at the end of the day, no one can tell you what is right and what is wrong to do. You have to assess that for yourself, and you have to look at your heart and ask yourself,
is it working out?
Okay, we're getting to my favorite part, which is the additional document section.
Let's go.
People should have fun and utilize the additional document section, and it goes way beyond and underneath a portfolio. After I received my decision and the regular admission round started, I had the chance to talk with a dozen of applicants for VinUni's regular admission round, and a lot of them had something we called a portfolio that I believe they submitted as a part of their additional documents. I had to say this again, but have fun with these sections. I'm sure 100% that there are specific pieces of writing, social media posts, blog posts, or even just business reports that you wrote that really expresses your identity and is really you, and it's a piece of writing or a piece of work that you're just really proud of. And you should not waste it by keeping it a secret. Show it to them. You can throw this in a portfolio, have an entire storyline, really invest in it. Or you could go my way, which is just throw it in a document and have little notes of what they mean. It is totally understandable if you ran out of time and you don't have any availability to do a portfolio. I don't think you should. Just pour your heart out on a piece of paper. The reason I think it helped my case, once again, I was very, very proud of these writings. I think it showcased my talents really well, and it's also partially proved some of the more vague parts of my application. For example, my research hours. I put down that I did tens of research hours onto my application, but it wasn't exactly for a research paper. It was to serve the purpose of writing cases and investigating how I should craft a competition's procedures, stuff like that. So in order to prove that I did my due diligence, I did my work, and I produced something meaningful, that includes cases, guidebooks that I wrote, handbooks that I wrote, training sessions that I led and I wrote the module for. Because if I'm really, really proud of them and it took a lot of my genuine efforts to write, then I'm sure the admission office can see that too. Nothing fancy. We're getting to the final components. Wow, this is fast. Oh my god, will you guys miss me? Please tell me that you miss me. Please. Please. So I actually did not submit my financial aid documents simply because I was going to, but there were a lot of documents and my parents couldn't gather them in time. That was my fault. My first impressions to the financial aid process was that it was very comprehensive. You have to submit a lot of things. Bank statements, salary statements, proofs of house certificates. Literally, they ask for as many things as possible so that they can really, really assess your financial need. So I don't suggest you try to scam them because it kind of defeats the purpose of financial need and financial aid. I wouldn't want the people who actually needed the aid to not being able to get it because other people kind of find ways to fake their profile. So I don't encourage anyone to do that. But you know what? Your profile, your choice. I am going to judge you though. Yeah. I'm going to make more videos on application arcs, the admission office activities, and also my experience researching about university as well. However, I do want to put out a warning that, first of all, I'm not going to talk a lot about the US application process because at the end of the day, I didn't decide to go, and it feels like a fraud for me to yap too much about that process when I was deemed an unsuccessful applicant. I will tell you guys about things that I'm 100% confident about and I have credentials for. But for the rest, even if I'm confident and even if I know it's true, because I don't have the credentials, I don't want to put it out and risk anything. But if you're my friends, I probably yap accidentally in front of you a lot, so. Okay. That's it for today. It's kind of a short video, I know. But I will see you guys soon in the next videos. Bye. Mama. Bro, I'm gorgeous. And to be honest, my foundation today kind of sucks, but somehow on camera it looks really good. But in real life it kind of sucks. But on camera it looks really good.